everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura-Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we are very happy to see you here. We're going to work on a very fun project that was gifted to me from beginning to end. So tuck in, grab something to drink, a beverage, a snack, whatever. We're gonna putter along, okay? So it's called Penny Candy, and it is a table runner made with 5-inch charms, and then some little bit of yardage, which is for the background as well as for the binding, okay? You need 21 according to the pattern here. I will link the pattern. It is $3. I did find it for you, so hopefully you'll go and help support that artist. That would be amazing. VillaRosaDesigns.com. Teresa Lynn Maloney is the artist, okay? And I think it's for Fort Worth. It says Orphan Quilt Design, so I'm not sure. Anyways, it's super cute, and I really wanted to do it. So in this little charm pack here, we have 42 squares, okay, to play with, and we only need 21. So really, we could actually make 2, right, if we really thought about it, and we might think about that. So we love to overthink things. Okay, so what we want to do is first pick our 21, okay? So it is a Crackle Classic chips. And it's got, all the colors. It looks like a few of each, maybe 3. Okay, so we're gonna have a couple of repeat. That's fine, that's fine. I'm cool with that. Let's pick our 21, okay? Let's pick our, and then we'll figure out what we need to do next, which is cut the background into strips, okay? So let's pick our 21. Do we want black? Let's save the black, the 21 of the one part for the 4 corners for the outside. Let's save that one for there. And let's pick 20 of some more brighter colors, because we do like the whole layout it's got going here, right? We do like the way it looks, so we'll mix some colors. So we need 21. So let's figure that out, and then we'll make a little pile here, okay? So I don't want it the same as my background, so let's have at least some sort of color contrast. It's just barely there. Okay, so that's 4. Let's take these guys off the list. That's got a little bit of a yellowed hinge to it, so we might have to rethink our thoughts here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we're gonna have to go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I guess I'll have to do 19 and 20, because I want more of the color. Or here, 20, there we go. Leave those ones for the outside, and we'll leave that for the outside, okay, as well. Okay, let's just double check that we have our 21, okay. So there's our one for the outside corners, these bits over here, okay. 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, we have a bit of mix. We got like 3 blues, 3 greens, 2 browns, 2 of the reds, 2 each of the greens, a gray, and a tan, kind of all mixed in there. So I think it'll be pretty no matter what. So what do we need to do from this step here is we'll put these guys off to the side. That'll be another project or a whole other little table runner. So cut the background strip, 3 of these strips, cut 40 of them into squares, and then we want to do the side parts for this. So we're going to do the squares first. So let's go cut those. Okay, here, let's scoot this off to the side. Let's actually warm up our iron. This is it's got like a grunge kind of feel to it. So, and then this is the binding, which is great. I may choose a more of a brighter color to go with it, because I do like that pop of red that they have on the pattern itself. So okay, so we'll give this a little press, and then we will cut those strips and squares up, okay? And we'll catch back up with you when we have all that all sorted. I have the squares all cut for my corners of my snowballs, for my blocks. And now I just needed to put the diagonal line across them so it gives me a nice straight line to sew on. So I put it on my little cutting mat or whatever it is you're doing. Make sure the back side, you're doing it on the back side. Have a ruler that lines up from diagonal from corner to corner. And then just draw a little line. You could do this with, like, you know, iron away or whatever. I just happen to, I love just using a pencil. Just, it's nice. It's a nice little line. You can, you know, hair mark it as well. It's whatever makes you happy. So I just had a few more to do here. Okay. And I will do the little hop over to save that little tiny half square triangle. If you do save them, they do make some beautiful things. I have done a bag with 675 half square triangles, and a lot of them were left over from projects and some bindings and everything else like that. So it was all leftover bits that end up making a beautiful bag that I tote around for years now. So now what we want to do is add these squares right into the corner, and we're going to go sew on the diagonal, and just like this, so they all look the same, just like that, okay? So you can chain feed them through the machine, do one side, and then flip and do the next, and that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Line up our piece in the corner, and I'm just going to sew right beside that line, like right kind of next to it, right? We're just going to keep going with all the ones we need to do. Now, of course, you can adjust the size. You could change this into like a bigger table runner, a shorter table runner, placemats, whatever you can think of, right? The only limitation is your imagination. So I'm just going to load them all through. And once we get all those sorted, we'll trim off the excess corners so this all flips out, and we'll press them all up. Okay. Check back with you when we're ready for that part. Okay, we have added the triangle square pieces, the corner square pieces onto all of our charm packs. And then I have come over and hopped over a little bit to do another seam allowance so you get a little half square triangle off of that piece. It ends up being about when you square it up to be about 1.5 inches, which is fantastic for, you know, other small projects. Okay, so this is the last one I need to trim up. So let's do that. We also need to make our 4 squares for our outside part of our table runner. Okay, so here is a 5-inch square, and we're just going to come in on the 2.5 and then turn and come in on the 2.5. And make sure we have a nice little square for our outside pieces, okay? So just like that. Okay, and then we will pop those to the side. Let's trim off our extra off of this one. So pop up 1/4 inch seam allowance, press that out. Make sure we got this on the right. Okay. And then those we just press outwards, and then we square up to be 1.5 inches. Okay, so you're going to get 2 little tiny blocks out of each of your squares. And then I chose to use 11 of those squares, of these half square triangles, to border out one edge of my table runner. Okay, so you can see how I use some of the extra ones there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sorry, 8. I clearly can't count. Sorry, 8 of them to border out the edge. And if you wanted to, I'm going to do both sides. I don't think I have enough for the whole one, but I guess it depends on what you wanted, right? Okay, so make sure you lay them all out in a very pleasing manner. And then we're just going to press these out and then lay out the last little section here. Okay, I think we had it, so it was going to be here and here, and then here and here, I think was the last one. Okay, because we want to form a circle, okay? See how it's forming a circle there? If you wanted it the other way, you could form an X. So that makes an X and an O block. If you want like hugs and kisses, you know, like hugs and then kisses, right? You could do definitely a nice little fun project like that. Just probably border out each little block section, okay? So let's sew these together, and then we'll sew the whole section together, and you'll see what our table runner is going to look like. those two together, and we will put those two together, and those two together, and those two together, and then that one. And then we're gonna have a beautiful, beautiful table runner. Okay, we'll see you when I get these all sewn up.
Tangled knots, they're part of the plan. Each loose end finds a place to land. Fingers dance, the rhythm flows. Patterns form where chaos grows. Tie the edges, don't let go. Every line a story we sow. Colors blend, they never fade. Dreams are stitched and paths are made. Threads of tomorrow pulling me through. Every stitch a hope, every hue brand new. We're weaving futures bold and bright. A quilt of stars in endless
We just have 2 more seams to put together for this table runner, and like I said, I added my extra half square triangles onto the sides of each of my table runner. So we're just going to put the 2 bits together and make the one piece, and then figure out how long it is at that point in time, because of course it's going to be a little bit different than the pattern that is listed, because we added our own. We like adding our own touch to it. I encourage you to do the same. Pattern is just a guideline, people. This over to this one. We'll press those 2 seams, and then we'll figure out what the strips we need down on either side. You don't have to do that though, and of course you can make them even thicker than, you know, what is suggested. So but this is a perfect example of how to snowball corners. Okay, let's give those 2 seams a press. And then this one here, and then I'll show you what we got going on so far. Lovely. Look at that. That's beautiful. Look how pretty that is. Can you see that? Can you see all that? There we go. Looks lovely. Okay, so now we have, let's put it right on the 0 line and all the way up to here. We are at 46.5. So if we take our long border piece here and make it 46.5, then we know we have our 4 little squares that are going to go in either one of these corners right here, and then there'll be a piece, strip of 9.5. It's 9.5 from here to here across here. So we need 2 at 46.5 and 2 at 9.5. Okay, get that sorted. Okay, we are pinning the border sash onto either side of the squares that we just made. It's 46.5 inches long, and what I did is I cut 3 pieces and then joined them together And then instead of having the pieced edge so close to the end, I kind of halved it and then worked it like 46.5 up and then did the cut. So the piecing part's kind of more into the middle of the table runner part, okay? So we're gonna pin this on and sew it down, and then we have our 2 side pieces here that are gonna go at the top of the table runner here. They're gonna go in this direction to finish it off, okay? And then there's many ways you can finish it off. You can batting and backing it, or you can just back it. You can sew it right sides together and flip right side out. You can also like you were quilting it and then bind it. You could flip the back to the front and bind it there after it's quilted. I mean, there's lots of options. You know, you figure out what you want to do with it at the end result. But you don't necessarily need batting for it, okay? So just so you know. If you don't have it, it's okay. If you have something you want to reuse, like maybe some denim or corduroy, or maybe even part of a blanket that, you know, you want to use for a batting part, then go for it, right? Okay, let's sew those down, the sides down, and then we'll show you what it looks like after a press, and then we'll put the tops on, okay? Okay, hey everyone, we've got the table runner finished, and we've got it all squared up, sewn together with one of our favorite stitches. It is one of our like heartbeat ziggy-zag stitches all the way around. Fortunately, I lost the footage for that, so sorry you didn't see that. We are going to add the binding to go around it. I chose a lovely blue to kind of complement the dark blue that's already on here. I did try to find a similar red, but I just didn't have one in my stash, so I think this will work. We just need to continue stitching the binding all the way around, so we're going to sew it onto the back and then flip it to the front and sew it down there. You could also, if you wanted to, sew it onto the front, okay? And then when you flip it to the back, you can hand stitch it, and then that gives such a really pretty, tidy little look to it, okay? But we're just going to machine sew it. I did cut 4 strips of the width of fabric for this project, for the binding. I don't think I need that much, but it'll just go into the extra pile of extra binding. So, all right, let's finish this off, okay? Thank you very much for sticking it out.
Silver strands in the golden, stitching whispers in the quiet room. A patch of sky sewn in tonight. Dreams are woven, catching the light. Pull the needle, let it glide through the fabric, open wide. Threads of tomorrow pulling me through. Every stitch a hope, every hue brand new. We're weaving futures, bold and bright. A quilt of stars in endless night.
We want to make sure we're stopping about a 1/4 inch away from where our binding needs to go. Pinch our fabric up in the corner so it does this little diagonal, like half triangle or half square there piece, and then just come on down. So I gives us enough fabric to be able to flip to the front, or if you were doing the reverse, flip to the back to be able to cover up all your corners and come around. Almost. We got one more to go. One more corner. We're in the final stretch. Flip to the front.
So colors blend, they never fade. Dreams are stitched and paths are made. Threads of tomorrow pulling me through. Every stitch a hope, every hue brand new. We're weaving futures, bold and bright. A quilt of stars in endless night.
You do want to leave a little bit of distance between your 2 end pieces. like a gap knot sewing, because you want to be able to sew those together. Okay. So there is a tool out there. It's called a binding tool. It gives you like a certain gap between like this side of your fabric and that side of your fabric. So we're going to cut that there right to the desk, and I'll show you. This is how I do mine. Okay, so we have our straight fabric here for this side. And we're just going to pin that, just going to pin it right in place, just right there, so it's not going to slip anywhere, okay? Because we want to make sure everything's laying flat. Then we take our binding piece, and we want to lay it right up against, fold it out completely, the whole 2.5 inches or 2 1/4, whatever it is that you're using, okay? Line it right up against that raw edge, and then here. And then you lay the other piece that you're overlaying on top of that, right straight, and then where that 2.5 or 2 1/4 piece ends, that's where you're going to clip. Now you're only clipping through the top one, okay, not the bottom, just the top. Now this should give us a nice piece, as long as we get a nice straight cut. Okay, there, that's off to the side. Now these two can now be put together as we did with normal binding. I always find that taking a clip to be able to alleviate the stretch in between this one, like right here, just to kind of give you a nice little space to work with. You don't feel like you're stretching it, okay? I'm just going to line that right up just like that. Pop our pin in, and then we're just going to sew on the diagonal. And you can always double check to make sure you've done it right before you clip that piece off, is you lay it out flat, and if it lays nice and flat, then it's good. If it has a twist in it, you're going to want to make sure you kind of unpick that, okay? So let's put it under the machine and sew down on that diagonal to make this a one piece of binding at this point. Okay. Oops. Let's get back better under there. And we're going to come straight down to the other corner. And I do like to hop over and just get that extra little 1.5 inch piece of fabric out. I mean, why not? It has built me a few little interesting projects. Okay, so now we're going to take our little clip out, and if we did everything correctly, it should lay out flat just like that. Perfect. Okay, we'll add just a tiny little bit of heat to that, and then we'll continue to sew down to finish off that binding on the back, and then it'll be just easy peasy. Flip to the front and give our little stitch. And we could use the decorative stitch that we use to stitch down the quilting part of it all the way around, or just a nice little straight stitch. It's up to you, okay? And then to get to the front part, it's easier if you just kind of fold over here, and then just, you can give a little press, do some clips, everything to get it nice and flat, and then just sew all the way around. And that'll be cute and easy project. Great gift, literally for anyone and everyone, because if you don't have a table run, you can have it as a table topper, like a dresser topper, or like a bureau, or anything like that, you know. And you can use pins as well. You don't always have to have clips, okay? Right? And then just sew all the way across. Okay. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate you and your time that you give to our channel. Thank you very much. Big hugs to you and yours, and we will see you on the next one. Lots of hugs and kisses in here for you. Okay. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.